Good morning, I am Kevin Price, delighted to be with you, spending time with you, talking to you about you and your business. I've got a lot to talk about on today's program, and we're going to ramp it up like we always do on Monday mornings with my good friend, the one and only Steve Beaman. I almost called you Dr. Steve Beaman. We need to get you an honorary doctorate somewhere because you pontificate like one who has a doctorate degree. But the one and only Steve Beaman is with the Society for the Advancement of Financial Education, an organization that's near and dear to me as well, as we work to probably have you here every month for a few months. It appears based on what I've got happening here. We're excited about your you coming here, but we're also excited about you spending time with us every week, going over the news. Let's talk real quickly, though, before we go into the news with what's going on with your great group.
Well, Kevin, good morning. It's always a pleasure to be with you on the radio down there with all those great folks in Houston, Texas. Yeah, we're excited. We have booked our September 24th Steve Beaman Live program. This is a true 2-hour stage show, multimedia spectacular. We have Grammy Award-winning musical artists who will be joining us for this event and some very special guests. So we're looking forward to packing the Drury Lane Theater on September 24th at 7 o'clock in the evening. So we're excited as can be about that. We have a brand new website launching by the end of the month, which will help facilitate membership activity to bring people better and better information on the path to financial security. And so we have a lot going on. It's just a constant barrage of effort. But as you know, it's a joy as we work to transform people's lives.
Yeah. Tell us again where that theater is.
Drury Lane is in Oak Brook, Illinois. It's a beautiful theater. Seating in the main theater is about 900 folks. So we're expecting to sell those tickets out fast. So if people want to learn more, they can connect with you or can touch base with me at Steve Beaman or steve.beaman at stevebeamangroup.com.
Sure. Or they can also go to the Society website, which is where?
It's societyforfinancialeducation.org. Now, we also will be launching Steve Beaman Live within the next 2 weeks as a landing page, which will have ticket information, guest information, and all the rest. So we're excited about it, Kevin, and as you know, we're on a mission together with folks like you to help transform the dialogue in America and make it a place that we want to have our grandchildren grow up.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Is that a suburb of Chicago?
It is. It's about 20 miles west of the city. It's right on the Eisenhower corridor right there in Oak Brook. It's a beautiful area. Drury Lane is a beautiful theater. They have major stage productions there virtually every week. And so we're excited to be at Drury Lane. We're glad those folks have partnered with us and worked with us to give us the kind of deal we needed.
Yeah, absolutely. So tell us a little bit about, what you saw on the news the past week that caught your attention before I get to my laundry list. Let's do it backwards a little bit.
Kevin, again, it's one of those days we have so much to talk about. We could go for a week, not just an hour. But
well, you were originally on for one segment, and now you're on two just to try to keep up with it all. It's hard to keep up with it all, and you do a great job. So go right ahead.
And again, as you know, all we do is hope that people find it interesting. But certainly last week we had a couple of things that crossed my path. Number one is the markets, which achieved new highs again, all in response to Ben Bernanke's saying that he's going to keep the quantitative easing program in place for the foreseeable future. That means several things. It means we're going to have easy money in the markets. It means we're going to have incredibly low, almost zero interest rates. And it means people have nowhere to go but to stocks. So that's forcing stock prices up. It also came to light last week. Folks should be aware that, especially outside of the Texas area more so, but we are going to see a run-up in gas prices. We've had a run-up in the price of oil in the last week. I think we'll see another 15 cents added to the price of gasoline around the most of the country, so that's not going to be good. We had the economic release showing job numbers. Again, these numbers are funny, but we still sustain about an 8% official unemployment, 7.8. And then if you take that on the including discouraged workers, it's about 15. So I'll actually be talking about that next Thursday at the Federal Reserve in Chicago as well.
Oh, very cool, very cool. Yeah, I think you're right. You said the job numbers are funny, but nobody's laughing. 23 million unemployed. Why would anyone laugh at that? But this administration continues to call it a robust economic development. I just don't see it.
I think they're out of their minds. If 1.5%, 2% economic growth is what they envision as the new norm, God help the American people. We need to get back to 4.5%. The way you're going to do that is to simplify the tax code, deregulate business, and let loose the American monster again and let it gain its own economic foundation once more.
Okay. Yeah. So talk a little bit about, this concern I'm hearing now and now, more and more, often. I had an economist on from, the Heritage Foundation talk a little bit about this. Back in the 1990s, the, debt in Japan equaled the GDP, back around 93, 94. And you remember, Rubin was sent over to solve Japan's problems. And since then, we've had nothing but what they call a silent generation from Japan. It's been on life support ever since then, and now it's trying to use hyperinflation as a way of jumpstarting its economy. But the reality is that historically, when GDP equals to debt, 1 and 1.5% GDP growth is really good growth. That's about all you're going to get. United States' debt is now 17 trillion. Our GDP is 16 trillion. Is this going to be the new normal?
Well, yeah, let's touch on that. One of the things I'll be talking about this coming Thursday at the Chicago Federal Reserve is the lack of savings in America. With interest rates this low, you tend to drive people away from saving money. And that is part of a reduction in the capital base, which does tend to reduce growth in the economy. Now, Japan's seen 20 years of what are called the lost decades, and we don't want to see that here. And I think one of the points I'd like to make your listeners aware of today is that our debt is $17 trillion in the federal area. But all in, if we look at corporate debt and individual debt, we're at $60 trillion. So we certainly have a debt burden on the American economy.
How many dollars?
$60 trillion of total debt.
Wow.
And that's real debt, by the way. That's not the unfunded liabilities portion. That's actual, real, payable debt.
How depressing. My God. All right. His name is Steve Beaman. He's with the Society for the Advancement of Financial Education. He educates us every single time he gets in front of the mic here with our listeners. And talking about, what some of the major news stories out there. The money always seems to be a big driver. And I get this idea that Bernanke, and of course it's going to be a new Fed Reserve guy. And when we come back after the break, I'm going to ask you if there's any more news on who might be replacing him. But it's almost like Bernanke is playing good cop, bad cop, and he's playing both roles. Like one day, oh, don't worry, we're going to continue to buy this, these debts, these bonds, and then the next week. But at some point, we got to curtail this buying. It's really bizarre to watch him.
Now, let me give you one before we go to the break that will really blow your mind. In the month of May, the United States government ran a surplus.
Really?
About $100 billion surplus.
How long did that last? About 3 seconds?
No, it's 1 month. They count that as the great thing. What happens, it's the way revenues come in and all that.
Oh, yeah.
Flow of money because of tax collections. But they love to say, we ran a surplus in the month of May.
Woohoo! That felt really good. So we'll talk more. We'll talk more about Bernanke. We'll talk more about Snowden and all the other stuff there in headlines. It's what we do every Monday, on The Price of Business with the one and only Steve Beaman with the Society for the Advancement of Financial Education. I'm Kevin Price. I'm also with that society, working on developing it here in Houston. Love to hear from you on what you'd like about your involvement. We'll be back for more right after this on The Price of Business.